Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Wanted to do a little weekend update as well as what we got going on for the week. And obviously, if you're a follower of the channel, you know the big thing happening this Saturday is MHOR's Vintage Race. They also are going to do one Wednesday night. Wednesday nights, there's usually a different crowd Wednesday nights than Saturday nights. And I don't know if I can make it Wednesday. My son has tutoring, so I'm gonna obviously probably do the dad thing and help get my son to tutoring for that best brains and get him through the rest of third grade. But Saturday is kind of the big race I set aside. We have all four cars kind of reserved by a number of different drivers. So again, thank you to all the guys that volunteered: Scott, Sam, Larry, and Mel. So these cars are all going to be at track at once, fighting it out. So very, very good chance I could yard sale and lose a lot of money. Or like last race, I think we broke a couple small things. I think the biggest thing we broke was a rear arm on our long arm RC10. All the other cars survived. So just getting stuff ready for that. So really wanted to pour through the cars and make sure that they are 100% ready to go. You know, no one has an unfair advantage. Each car gets a fair shot, sort of thing. So the B3, I just kind of went through, made sure there wasn't any bad bearings or anything, cleaned that up. B3 is ready to go, finishing mounting up last set of tires for the B3. So every car has two sets of tires as well. So no excuse. So B3 ready to go. Obviously, if you've seen our video on the Cougar has a lot of updates since we last ran it. So did get the shock bottoms in, changed those out, put our chassis snifter in there, our alloy battery posts, our alloy spacers, different servo horn, got a number of spare parts. So our Cougar's ready to go. So Mel's going to be rocking that thing. Fan RC Graphite, I did email J Concepts and have not heard back about the order I placed damn near 2 weeks ago when the bell cranks came in. So we may or may not have any upgrades for the poor Fan RC Graphite, but the Fan RC Graphite is undefeated in the vintage races. So that, I mean, tell me below what you think, which car is going to bring home the glory, because the Fan's undefeated in the race scene. So unfortunately, don't have much for that. Just kind of went through, cleaned it up. There wasn't really much to clean. Just doing a double check. And all my cars you could eat off of. And the one thing I will tell guys, and I noticed this at the racetrack, is the guys that are usually having problems, their cars are dirty as hell. And it's like, how can you figure out if a shock's leaking or something's going wrong when your car is that dirty? The other thing, I religiously clean my cars in between rounds. I use Pledge. Laugh all you want, but it keeps the dirt away. And it's a good way to check for, loose ball ends, a bad ball cup, anything like that. So in between every heat, I go through and I clean every single car, as good as I can. Sometimes there's not a lot of time between heats, but I clean them up and make sure they're ready to go, especially on the vintage cars, like not missing C-clips or something like that definitely could affect your next round run. You want to pay attention to that stuff. And like I said, it is, and that's the fun part for me, is running vintage cars. I also, just like going through and tuning them, seeing if there's anything I can do to make a car better. So keep that in mind if you're vintage racing or just racing RC in general. I mean, my B7 looks like it hasn't even hit the track because it's never hit the track. But it's another video for another time. The Losi, we put all new bearings through it. Again, poured through that thing. We got our JC arms on the front. That took out a ton of slop, fixed all the steering, so the steering's good to go. So that car, when we did pretty well last time out with that thing, a couple Saturdays ago, racing that in the 21.5 class, brought home second every heat. Did win one round when Mel decided to sit out and take pity on me and let me have one. But, the Losi performed great. And like I said, there was some stuff in there that if you're not cleaning your car or monitoring it, can really slip by you. And one of them was, the front bearings in that thing were getting pretty shot. They didn't feel bad. They didn't really make any noise. But when you down to it between that and the new ones, there's a world of difference. So getting all the new bearings in that was definitely a good idea on the Double X. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see all these runs. I'm going to pit them all weekend on Saturday, so I won't be running anything. I'm going to let other people run them, enjoy, get a kick out of it, and see what we can do. And like I said, the vintage class, I thought the last time the vintage class was the best class out there. It was competitive. There was good racing. The cars were close, and now we're going to have, instead of 3, we're going to have 4. And I think the other big thing is last time we went, we had 3 RC10s, right? We had our fan and we had 2 of the long arms. We had, the tub chassis long arm that we gave away, which is with its new owner. So we'll see if we get an update on that. But, and then the other long arm, I've been looking for spares for it. And all the JC Racing long arms I can find from Japan, they're like $120 now. So until I find some spares for that, I don't know if I'll be running that car anytime soon. Plus, we want to keep new content coming and new stuff coming. So that is the other thing on this video I wanted to kind of talk about is what should be our next project. And if you follow the channel, I already got a Kenwald on order from Associated. That's going to come out the end of the month. Ordered the electronics, but I'm prepping these cars this week, so I don't have a whole lot this week. So I'm kind of twiddling my thumbs, and my ADD is setting in, and I'm trying to figure out the next project. So I kind of went through comments, and I saw several of them, and one of them was, help a subscriber out, right? Take their clapped out whatever, RC10, Losi, Schumacher, maybe, whatever, and bling that shit out and send it back to them. And that is an option. So if you have a dilapidated RC10, Losi Double X, Losi Triple X, I'd prefer to keep a 2-wheel drive buggy than 4-wheel drive. 4-wheel drive gets a little bit more spendy to get those things up and going. Don't ask me how I know, but I know. And that might be an option, right? If someone's got a B2, B3, that's just, they don't know where to get parts and it's collecting dust, but they really want to run it. Obviously, we know a little bit about the B3, B2 platform. So, yeah, maybe we do that is just do a subscriber rebuild project. That's something we can do quick and got some content, and one of you lucky viewers out there could get a totally tricked out car. And that might be something where we put big bores on it. If you have a Cougar, we'll put Cougar big bores, or a Losi, put Losi big bores. Or if anyone's got a Losi 22 1.0 rear motor, I will clap that thing out like no one's business. That is the one car I sold that I truly miss, that I still wish I had, because it would compete with our B5. And man, I don't know. And bringing up the B5, I actually saw someone say, well, you should get an RB10. A lot of people are using those as an entry-level car because, you can get them for, what is it, $229, I think, on sale at A-Main. Would you do a video on that? And I'll tell you what, I'll buy an RB10 and do some race upgrades, and we could do that journey if people are interested. I don't know, because like I said, our B5 is really close to that. And our B5 is tricked out because it's a B5.6.7, because it's got a B6 front end, a B6 rear end, and some B7 stuff on it. So, that one I'm like, but I'll do it. Whatever people want, because like I said, I have about 3 weeks here, or I'm going to be bored. Or the other one is let's pick up another chassis. And it can't be a Schumacher, it can't be an Associated, and it can't be a Losi. Unless it's a Triple X buggy. But I've been looking on eBay, and goddamn, those things are going for $300 for one that's even halfway decent. Anyway, I digress. So, what does that leave us? For some reason, I told someone, a Tamiya Astute, I don't know why, that thing is looking me in the face and telling me to get one and hop it up and race it. Because I don't know about you, I haven't seen a Tamiya at MHOR probably since the mid 2000s, maybe. I mean, you just don't see them. And so maybe Tamiya like super astute, and there's parts, in the thing is there's the parts available for it. There's people making aftermarket parts. Do we get an astute? Clap that thing out and throw it in the vintage ring with everything else we have. The other one, and some of us saw this when I was up at Hobbytown, and more than a couple people made a mention of it, is the Kyosho Ultima 20th Anniversary Edition. And I'll buy that too. It doesn't, the only thing that kind of bothers me a little bit about that, I mean, I think it's at the level of these cars, and I think you can get it there. The chassis, I wish it had a flat bottom chassis like the JJ, just a solid piece of graphite or something. The aluminum twin spar kind of trellis chassis, and like the lipo hanging out. I don't know if there was a way to get it all down the center like we do on our Losi or we do on our B5. And maybe there is, and maybe that's even a better reason to buy it, is to figure that thing out. So, Ultima. Or the other one I've been thinking hard about, because I saw it on sale at A-Main, and I've seen a ton of reviewers do reviews on these things. And I have never seen anyone race them. I mean, I've seen them kind of build them and like, oh yeah, great, run them in their backyard, that typical bullshit. I shouldn't say that, man. I'm not knocking on other channels. It's their thing. People obviously enjoy it because their channels are bigger than mine. It's just not my thing. And my whole channel setup was, building cars to race, go to MHOR, which is, I think by now, MHOR's got to be the oldest RC track in America. And that's a wonderful facility, and I have a great advantage on a lot of people because I can drive 20 minutes and be at MHOR, charging batteries and running on a track that's got a good amount of history to it. MHOR had, I think they had the Roar Nationals in 97. That's when they had the outdoor off-road track and the indoor. And now they just have the indoor, and they have a big carpet course outside. So maybe we do some carpet stuff. I don't know. That is another option, because MHOR does have carpet track on the outside that is much bigger than the dirt track on the inside. But to get to it, the Kyosho Dirt Master, which is basically an RB5, which was a competitor to our B5. I would be interested in getting that, and then getting the actual like RB5 body shell and trying to get that thing together. Now, granted, it's a different generation than what these cars are. It's I think people call it, at the vintage races, what is it? 2000s rear motor or something. So any rear motor car, right? You can race in that class. So B5s, etc. Serpent Spiders, whatever. Losi 1.0s, which, like I said, I still have a soft spot, and I had 2 of them, and I sold them. And someone in Australia, I know you're watching, and I know you got my white, yellow, and green motif. Losi 22 with ultra rare Yaba Racing parts on it that I put on there and shipped out to you. Goddamn. Anyway, I do miss that car. And if I could get that back, I would get that back. But, is that another one? Y2K, I think they call it, is Y2K rear motor. So any, 2000s rear motor car. So the Kyo, I want to do something different. I really don't want to do another Losi. I sure shit don't want to do another Associated. I'm getting sick of seeing that shit. But I can't wait to see the Kinwald, because I do want to race the Kinwald. And I think that's and the only reason I'm excited about that is because every RC10 kit Associates put out is not competitive at all, unless you sink a ton of money into it. And I'm talking, the JJ, the 40th, the team car. The team car is a pile of junk. But the Kinwald, and I saw some people bitching about price, and I will defend Associated on this, is for $470, you get a tremendously much more developed and competitive car. You can race that out of the box. You can't race the team car out of the box. It's just not refined enough. But that is it's right at the Fan Graphite, right? Fan Graphite, $400. That's a great car right out of the box. You can do the Octalock upgrade because it does have the V2 upper shaft, and buy that. And like I said, $450 into a Fan Graphite. That thing is race ready and will do you well. And that's what we have. So for $20 more to get the associated tub car Kinwald edition with kind of all the nuanced Kinwald stuff, I think that is actually a great deal. And I think people know I'm not a huge Associated fanboy, even though I have a bunch of Associated stuff. I'm definitely not a Reedy fan, at least Reedy speed controllers. And if you watch the channel, you know why. So besides our update, there's not a ton of content this week, except for a new chassis. We need to bring something new to this channel. And I want you, and we're over 600 subscribers now. So again, thank you for everyone for liking, commenting, subscribing, and watching this hot garbage. But below, tell me what car you want to see on this channel. And let's make it happen by Wednesday. So if it's the Ultima, I'll go up to Hobbytown. I will grab the Ultima and we'll start in on that. If it's the RB5 Dirtmaster, I'll get that ordered. We'll get that coming and start working on that chassis. If it is a subscriber car and you are a subscriber and you have a car that you want pimp my ride, like old school exhibit MTV style, right? I'm not going to put TVs in the thing and blah, blah, blah in a popcorn machine. But if you're like, man, I have a B3, B5, I have a triple X buggy, Lozy, that I just don't have time to get to. I'd really like to get it together to race. Let me pimp it out. And I'll pimp it out free of charge. The only thing I might ask is you let us race it once and put it on the channel. And then I'll send it to you refreshed with one race on it. And you can enjoy having a pimped out ride. So if you do have something like a Trexus TRX1, Lozy Triple X buggy, maybe some type of Kyosho, Tamiya, I don't know. Let me know what you guys want to see on the channel next, because like I said, we've kind of hit a point where all of our chassis are developed. There's really no more content on a B3, right? We've done a ton of videos on the B3. You guys all know where to get parts, from Dragon Punch, Fan Graphite, or Fan is reproducing parts, all that. So, and including all the electronics in our car too, everything you need to know about a B3 platform to get it race ready in today's high grip clay tracks on there. Same with the Cougar. I've done a ton of videos on the Cougar because I tell you, I love the Cougar. And I am going to say, I don't know. I think that's the vintage car to have. Schumacher UK has been tremendous in sending out parts. It's really not that expensive. They get here within a week. Actually, same with JC Racing too. So JC Racing, I'm probably going to have to buy my long arm. I'm going to go through JC Racing and buy some more stuff. But our arms for our Lozy came. I ordered, I think, 2 or 3 sets. Got a set on there. Those came within a week. So kudos to them. Our Fan Graphite, we've done a lot. That was really the first car we had on the channel, was the Fan Graphite. And I will always love the Fan Graphite. And then the Yokomos. I haven't done, and that's the other thing, I haven't done some 4-wheel drive stuff lately. So I got to get after it. I know there's one of our viewers is building an 870C, and I've been emailing him, and he's local, so we may get his out on the track and mine as well to run those around. But again, man, we need to move on to something different. And so I want you, the subscribers, and maybe this is our 1,000 subscriber giveaway. If we go this channel, or we go this route with this channel, is getting another chassis, whether it's an Ultima or whatever. Maybe we get it together, we pimp it out, we race it, we give it away, just like we did with our long arm at 500 subscribers. That's now in a subscriber's hand. Maybe we do that. Or like I said, I think it'd be cool to pimp out someone's ride. Someone that's got an old XX, triple X, buggy, whatever. It'd be cool if it was something different, but I understand if you got a B3, B2, whatever, that maybe you're just not up to speed on brushless or the knowledge or whatever. And we'll throw full electronics in it. We'll set it up just like these. Like I said, I think the only thing I'd ask is if you send it, expect to see it on a video getting raced. Then we'll clean it up and send it back to you. And you have a raced prep vintage racer at no charge. And I don't know why, and I'm hoping the comments say get the Tamiya Astute. I have no reason why I want a Tamiya Astute. I'm not a big Tamiya guy. If you watch this channel, you know the very first car I had was a Tamiya Super G with the yellow wheels, and I have a replica of it upstairs on a shelf. But that's about as far as my Tamiya love goes. But for some reason, the Astute has really grabbed me. And I've seen a lot of Tamiya channels where they've got them, they built them, they put stuff on them, and they've never really raced them. And if they have, they're on carpet, which is a much different environment than in the United States here, where there's carpet, but there's a lot of dirt, and that might be one. And I think it would be kind of cool to have a Tamiya on the channel that might be race worthy. So this video is getting long. It's almost 20 minutes. I can hear my Colombian wife upstairs screaming about chicken nuggets already. So I better get up there. But anyway, the other thing, speaking about Colombian wives, happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. If you're lucky enough to still have your mom, I hope you send her a special message, take her out to breakfast, lunch, dinner, whatever. I know my RC influence was not from my dad. My mom, I begged her with the Tower Hobbies catalog to order me stuff. Whenever we'd go to Sioux Falls, which was the biggest city in South Dakota, that's the only place that had a hobby shop. I remember going to Donovan's Hobbies. And always, when we were ever in Sioux Falls, my mom would always stop by Donovan's Hobbies for me. And I'd have my RC car with me or what have you. And there was another hobby shop there. I can't remember what it was, but my mom would always run to the hobby shops with me when we were in Sioux Falls, doing back to school shopping, getting my Gerbo jeans or what have you. So moms always play a special role in our life. And like I said, I don't know where you got your RC influence came from, but my mom was a lot of that because she put up with a lot of it and ordering stuff from Tower Hobbies, getting, CODs and putting checks in the mail so I could get my RC10 or what have you. And to this day, and I still fool with toy cars and she thinks it's hilarious. So anyway, happy Mother's Day. Tell me what you want to see. Content on the channel below. We're going to make a decision by Wednesday and we're going to get it rolling because these cars are done. They're ready to go. And after the vintage race, there's really nothing more to do with these things. So we do have the Kinwald coming, but let's get something else started, whether it's a Kyosho or a Tamiya, or maybe, like I said, a Reader's Rides, Pimp My Ride sort of thing we can do as well. So again, like, comment, subscribe down below. We'll see you on the next one.